Hi everyone, this is Rowena Phillips. I am an entrepreneur, coach, and a consulting psychologist. I'm glad to be back with you on my series of Unsung Hero. And these are stories inspired through real life. And today I'm going to share one interesting incident that happened while I was working with the adolescents age group, and I suddenly get this emergency call from the doctor, and I'm in a session and I'm getting back to back calls. So I did understand that there is high urgency, and as I responded to the call, I was requested to quickly come into the medical clinic and told that the situation was quite serious. And as I entered into the medical clinic, I seen a girl who was around 18, 19, lying on the sick bed and surrounded by three of her friends who were classmates. So what happened is the girl fainted in a laboratory, and so she was brought in to get herself checked up, and she was displaying symptoms that of breathlessness and high exhaustion. The doctor checked her thoroughly, and then she said that let me hand this case over to you. There is nothing physically that she has a problem, and she handed it over to me. And while I happened to speak to the girl, she told me that she doesn't want to come back to the college, and that she also wanted to end her life. And her friends were really scared for her. And of course, when I heard that, that's when our session began. And I spoke to her we had a counseling session. Now, what led her to such an extreme step? What led her to think that life is not making any sense? She doesn't want to come back and face the college. And of course, I'm not mentioning the psychological elements here, but just to give you now the reason of what exactly had happened. Now, she has an elder sister, and they don't really hold a very good, healthy relationship, because the sibling differences sometimes that happens. So in all this, she had a very good friend who is a boy, of course, and just a friend in college. And she begins to trust this boy and share things with him. And he also knew about she not having a very healthy relationship with the sister, and in some sense he gets her introduced to his sister as well. And so what causes her to get this physical symptoms of fainting and thoughts and extreme steps of ending her life is she happens to check one of the WhatsApp message between the two. And what happened is, between the two, the talk was about her. And of course, her sister was talking some not so good stuff, like children normally have. She's like that, she's like that, she's not responsible, or she doesn't do this. And somehow the boy also agreed on the chat. So that was her first experience of betrayal, though a very small proportion, and her first experience of mistrust. So this happens with adolescents, that when the first time they experience somewhere, they see the real world, they face the real world at the age of 18, 19, to realize that everybody cannot be trusted. There is a level of trust. Every relationship has different boundaries. So the first experience comes to them as a shock. And that's what happened with her. And I want to talk to everybody of that age group. I want to speak to the teachers, I want to speak to the parents, I want to speak to people who may witness such instances, and then you have these generalized conclusions that I will never trust anybody, everybody does this to me, everybody is bad, and a lot of generalized coping mechanisms are built at that time. So of course, what inspires me about this story is that she agreed on our discussions. She learned ways to cope with relationships, continue to come to college, live a healthy life, and of course these are bygones for her by now. So dear friends, what I want to say is that small things can really become big to the extreme extent of harming one's own life, and believe me, it's not worth it. It's better to build coping mechanisms, understand that there are trainings, there are experts, there are professionals who can help you with this, and it's good to share your difficulties with your loved ones, with your parents, or go up and have an open conversation to say, okay, I really didn't feel good about it, I was hurt. And as the research says that emotional intelligence is responsible for 70% of a person's success, and managing relationships, managing self emotions are very much part of emotional intelligence. So this has really inspired me, and I'm sure a lot of you would have once upon a time come across this situation and you're over it and it's bygone for you. But in case you see somebody around you, please encourage the person that these are small aspects of life. And to parents and teachers, this may sound sometimes very silly, like totally negligible incident which shouldn't be even looked upon, but these really impact students or children in the age group of 18 and 19. So in case something like this is shared with you, be sensitive, empathize, understand their world, and talk to them and talk them out of it, so that is bygones, and they feel more courageous, they feel more prepared to face the world ahead of them. So with this thought, take care, stay safe. This is Rovina Phillips, consulting psychologist and coach, signing off. Have a wonderful evening and see you again in my next series of Unsung Heroes.